friends. Look who's here, everybody.
Hey.
Hi, Ivana. Hi, MK Karen. So, this is my friend Chrissey from Footprint Tarot. For those of you that may not know who she is, please do go check her out. She is lovely, and it is like 9 a.m. there-ish, right?
Yes. Yeah, 9 a.m. where I am. Yeah, I'm on the west coast, so it's 11 a.m. on the east coast of Australia, but I'm on the west, so it's 9.
So we appreciate you joining us first thing in the morning. So let's start with that. I'm going to stick Chrissy's link into the chat. For those of you that aren't familiar with her, please do go check her out. She's a lovely, lovely, lovely lady.
Thank you.
I am thrilled to have her here. And Chrissy and I had a chat a while ago about the Church of Scientology. And this is where we sort of came up with this idea to do this. So we want to say that this is for entertainment purposes only, of course. I just personally, I find it fascinating. Like the whole story, I find fascinating. The roots, the current, all the stuff in between. And one of the reasons why I find it fascinating is I feel like there's parallels between what happens allegedly in the Church of Scientology and what is happening in the MAGA movement. So here we are. Going to toss some cards, going to do a deep dive, as Chrissy put it, and I love it. So let's say hi to some folks, and then we'll go ahead and get started.
Hello. Yeah, I find the origins fascinating. I had no problem if people want to find an alternative, and if Scientology is one of them, it's fine. But the alternative should be safe.
Yes.
And there are a lot of alternatives out there that aren't safe. And I won't say whether I think it is or it isn't. But my fascination with it is going right back to the Genesis with L. Ron Hubbard.
Yes.
And that's where I'm going to be looking, as well as with the other things that Kelly's and myself are going to explore more in the modern day. So, yeah.
So just want to say a quick hi. Quincy's here, everybody. So hi to Teresa. Hi to Leslie King. Jessica Lynn is in the house. Teresa is here. Gypsy JJ is here. Bims is here. Tortoise Shell Moon Kathy is here. Hello, hello, hello.
Gerald Hi, Gerald from Parastash.
Sorry. So, you guys, currently what is happening in Scientology, just when Chrissy sent me the email and said, hey, Kelly, well, I was on my vacation. Do you want to do this? And I'm like, yeah. Literally like the day before or 2 days before was when Leah Remini announced or that it came out that her that she was filing a lawsuit against the Church of Scientology. So it seemed like, sort of perfect timing, if you will. So most people are familiar with the Church of Scientology because of, celebrities like Tom Cruise and John Travolta and the late Kirstie Alley were, pretty famous Scientologists, and it's sort of like widely known, right? And then Leah Remini did a TV show on ABC called The Aftermath, and she was talking to a lot of people and interviewing a lot of people and sort of giving us like an inside bird's eye view of what she alleged goes on in the Church of Scientology. And I'm not, like Chrissy said, I'm not here to tell you, do it, don't do it. That's whatever. I'm just interested in how did it come to be that it became this like, worldwide global sort of phenomenon from a guy who was selling science, like he was like a science writer, right? L. Ron Hubbard. So I think we should start there. I think we should start with L. Ron Hubbard. What do you think?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So
I mean,
one of the questions that Chrissy had, and I think that this is great, like, where did it come from? So like, where did L. Ron Hubbard sort of get this idea from? Was this something that he, that evolved over time? Like, how you get an idea and it just like it keeps going and you sort of have to keep up with it? Or was this like a whole plan that he had in his head and then tried to like execute it? You know what I mean? Come on, get off of the table. Goodness gracious, cat. I can't.
oh yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna do 3 cards.
Yeah.
On that one. Where did it come from?
I'm like, what cards should I use? And that's a good point, Gypsy JJ. She says that series was horribly interesting, and it was. I think for me that one of the parts that I found most interesting about that whole show was when we interviewed David Miscavige's father, and he claimed that he escaped Scientology, and that just, like, I felt some sort of way, So, all right, let's do this. I got my friends.
Basically, I've got 3 very, very interesting cards here, 2 of which are major arcana, which are life-changing events or life lessons. But the first card is, interestingly, the 7 of Swords. Strategic, the risk taker. As he was not very successful at anything. And that can happen. People can go through and they can try. You've heard of inventors who invented things that just didn't, nothing worked for like 20, 30 years. And then just one idea clicks and goes. And this is like he was facing just consequences. I feel like desperation.
Yeah.
And it's like, what can I do? I mean, he wrote that novel, or was it all ego-based? That's what definitely.
Yep.
He was desperately trying to find a way to balance things. And
yeah. I'm going to move you up closer, Chrissy, so that they can see the cards.
Oh, thank you, darling. Desperately trying to find a way to balance things, and just like, oh, what can I do? What can I do?
Right.
It's not like he was in such desperate straits. I feel like he had a pretty okay life. He just wanted more than the angels felt he needed, more than the temperate existence he was having.
Right.
And then being this idea suddenly happened. Oh wow. And there had been cults happening before that as well. Wasn't there one in the 40s or something?
There's so many.
Yeah. And it was like,
but you were saying when we were backstage, and I think that this is a good point to make, that at that moment in time, like, the 50s and the 60s and even the early 70s, people were searching for something different. People were very much in an experimental sort of state of mind, shall we call it? And so anything that was different, and it's a totally different time frame than we're in now, and it may be hard for us to even sort of wrap our heads around, but back in those days there was exhibits that people would go to and listen to speeches and conversations, and there was like exhibits and fairs, if you want to call them that. We all remember the psychic fairs that we all went to, right? Those kinds of things. They were like a big part of the culture. It was almost as popular as going to a play or a show, right?
His claim was an alien or a group of aliens.
Yes.
Is there any veracity? Is there any truth here?
Well, I want to show my cards because I think my cards are pretty interesting. It's sort of mimicking, sort of what you got. I started with, sorry, helps if you put it in front of the camera. So he was feeling challenged. He was having, he had a family to look after, right? And I don't think professionally he was, in his mind, as successful as he had hoped that he would be, is the way I want to say it. Next to that, we have the Four of Cups. So feeling stuck, feeling bored, like nothing, it's, I often describe the Four of Cups as standing in front of the fridge. I'm hungry. I want a snack. And you're just standing there. Like nothing's speaking to you. Like nothing's like, yes, I want a cheese sandwich. Nothing's doing anything for you. It's that kind of vibe. Then he's got the Five of Cups, totally not paying attention to what is right in front of him. Can't see the forest for the trees kind of idea, right? And interestingly enough, we've got the Ten of Cups as the outcome. So he latches onto this thing and he's like, yes, because people are listening, people are talking. It's like, yeah, okay. And I think he starts to feel like, oh, finally things are shifting. Interesting. I have the Eight of Swords on the bottom of the deck. And so I feel like what he showed the world is not necessarily how he really was behind the persona of who he was. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Those are really interesting.
Forward and in a way got trapped by it.
Yeah.
Because he trapped by his own ideas. Basically.
Interesting question. Bim says, wonder what late members think of it in afterlife. That's a crazy and cool question. I love that.
Wow, that is a cool question.
Let's a card or two on that.
I feel I need a different deck for that one.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm going to use my deck of character for this.
Yeah. What do late members think? The church here in Australia is facing a lot of legal issues. One of which is there is being brought to court by some ex-members on basically enslavement.
Yes.
Using slave labor and stuff, which what do they think? I'm getting the Princess of Swords. Disappointment. A feeling of betrayal. I mean, where is everything we were promised? And this is a disappointed friend or disappointment friend. And
Okay, so I use the deck of character, which always just makes me smile because the cards are kind of funny, but it's still a very truthful deck. We start out with the island, so they feel alone, they feel isolated, or maybe they feel like they need to isolate because it's sort of like a burden to them. They're on the treadmill, so to me this is like trying to like run away from it. They can't get away from it fast enough, which is really kind of sad. When you think about it, we have the vomit card.
The vomit card.
I don't think that we need to explain that. And on the bottom of the deck, I've got the spatula. So it's literally like, think of like fast food restaurant, like just shoveling themselves out of the, shoveling themselves away from the fire, kind of idea. In other words, they're trying to disassociate themselves. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I've got. Hi, Thomas. Hi, honey. My husband's in the chat. I wasn't saying.
Hello, Thomas. Hi, Tara, your way. Hi, Shelby Lisa.
Hi, Shelby Lisa.
Elma, Gypsy JJ, Sharon Sipe, hello.
Shelby says, my brother spent his teenage life staring at the inside of the fridge waiting for a snack to appear. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, that is, yeah.
I love it. Okay.
Another question I had was it really from aliens, this alien contact?
Right.
As we were discussing, I do believe that aliens are there. I do believe there is some form of contact, and I do believe that there's in much in the world there is light and dark. But as in, so was it alien contact? So that's my next question. And just because you might get contacted doesn't mean you necessarily go through with it. You know, did he actually receive these messages as he claims? That's a big no. That is a big no. That is
wow. You know what? I don't know. Do you side note, do you often get surprised by your cards? You know, like when you've asked a question and you toss the cards, do you often get surprised and go, I wasn't expecting that?
And yes, I do. And sometimes
So
it's like I will draw a card and it just doesn't make sense when I draw it.
Yeah.
And then as I go through the reading, it's like bang, oh, now it makes sense and it hits.
Yeah.
But this is a big no. This is yeah. In fact, you know, I feel like he maybe stole an idea from somebody else. It was like the genesis of a book or something.
Look,
I feel like
look what I got. That's my first card out, the Six of Pentacles.
That's charity and
well, no, but like the giving and well, you'll see when I get my cards out that you'll see why I'm showing you that.
Autonomous. So he thought, now this is, and this next card actually feeds well into my next question. It was it really a calling or just a way to make money? And here is autonomy, the sweet life. So, and the last card is, it was surprisingly a strong idea and it took off.
Mm-hmm.
But it did take time and it still required patience. But for some reason, he just knew it would work. Again, like that inventor.
Yes.
That invents 50 things and suddenly this one idea. It took on a life of its own.
He was sort of an inventor, was he not? If I'm not mistaken, he was sort of a person that, you know, he had many ideas. Is what I want to say.
So that's interesting. I mean, I do not read any alien contact here, you know.
Interesting. I started with the Six of Pentacles, which, as Chrissy said, you know, it's charity, it's giving and receiving.
Giving and receiving, yeah, okay.
But I often say to people when I'm trying to explain the Six of Pentacles, depending on, you know, the kind of reading that you're doing, it's like, you know, one hand extending to another and another hand holding on to it and saying things like, I got you, right? We're connected now. And I almost feel like it's an exchange of sorts, if you get where I was going with that, right? Then we've got the Ace of Cups. All about the emotion. So now you get where so I'm like, it's an exchange of information, offering people an opportunity, a prospect of something better, playing on the heartstrings, playing on the emotions, right? Then we've got the Three of Wands, right? This is goals, expansion, vision. So it's like, I mean, exactly what you said. Like, he knew that this was working. Like, he could almost like see the sparkle in people's eyes kind of thing, or like people lighting up. I don't know if he was an air sign or not, but I've got the King of Swords on the bottom of the deck, which, you know, strategic and logical thinker and very analytical, and sort of sits there and, like, you know, makes all the notes and then decides exactly when to do something, right? So very well thought out, very well planned out. I pulled an oracle card, and this is the oracle card. Okay.
Nations of lovers, nothing left of memories, ashes from the sky. That's very interesting.
So for entertainment purposes only, I think that he believed that that's what was happening. I mean, how could we ever prove that that wasn't happening, or prove that it was happening? But I think that he had, I want to say, like, the best of intentions. I think that he honestly believed that he was getting that communication from wherever he said he was getting it from. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I'll have a look at that. I might draw a.
What do you guys think? I would love to know in the chat. Like,
did he really believe?
What you guys think? If you just, you know, your what does your intuition tell you guys in the chat? Do you think
that feeds into the question of, was it really a calling? Was it really a calling? Actually, I do get, the 10 of Cups.
Yeah.
A unified family. So it's like, I think maybe at the start it was just, well, look, maybe I can get some people to believe this and buy the books and buy into it. But you know how the saying that a lot of people buy into their own celebrity?
Yes. Yep.
That's what he put into it. Into his own myth.
Yeah.
And
so believe his own memoir.
As more people bought into it and more people started to look, you know, follow the way he does things and all that, he said, "Oh, I'm building a family. I'm building a family." And this is for the better. We can build a better life using these beliefs. Whether he believed in it at first, I don't think he did. But when you buy into your own myth,
yes,
and idealism,
you romanticize it, right? And you start to only see what you want to see. All the other stuff is, you know, is disappeared, right?
And you said before, when you got the 8 of Swords, that he was sort of then really trapped behind that facade. I think that was when he got trapped in his own idea.
Yes. Yeah.
And he bought into the whole happy families mix.
Yeah. Bimsis said, I think it could be a kind of control of people and a great way of making money.
Well, yeah, it was a way of making money. And as it grew and more people joined and things, he sort of started believing in what he was, you know.
I just pulled one card for that question, and I've got the 8 of Wands. So
communications, yeah. It sort of took off quicker than I anticipated.
I think that the probably, I mean, if we put ourselves in the shoes of someone, I've started a company, right? I'm producing this thing, you know, like the ShamWow people, and you know the lady or the man or whoever it was that invented the shoelace, or you know, the person that came up with the Swiffer, any of those things. There are lots of inventors out there, and you don't know if it's going to be successful or not. But when you get a taste of it, especially if you are the kind of person that has been trying for so long to get something to resonate and it isn't, then when you finally hit it, I mean, it's like euphoric. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my God. And you kind of get carried away, and
Yeah.
it is.
I just drew a clarifier for that 10 of Cups, and it was the Four of Wands, which also represents family and celebration.
Yeah.
And tenets, the 4 tenets of whatever it is that you are putting forward. To me, it's like safety, family, love, security, things like that. And
it's
so
also
he
the community, right?
this little outdoor lodge, whatever it was, this house based on these tenants. And it was like, wow, people started celebrating it and things like that. So
I got the King of Cups at the bottom of the deck, and I think I'm pleasantly surprised because I didn't expect that was going to be the answer. But it seems from based on the cards that we're getting that he was just trying to provide for himself and his family. Like, I'm not really getting a whole lot of ego, not like in the initial stages.
Not in the initial stages. I think it was just, I think he, like I said, bought into his own myth.
Yes. Yeah.
But even then, when we were talking earlier, you were saying that for the last few years of his life, he was away on a ship out in international waters.
Yeah, there's
I don't know what happened to his wife and children. And I actually got the thing going through my head when we were talking about that, is that they left. He didn't get rid of them in that way. They left because they could not buy into this.
Right.
They did not want to buy into this.
He was at sea, I think, for just a little over 2 years.
Yeah.
And he went to international waters so that, on the ship, I think it's called the Free Winds, I believe is the name of the ship, and just kind of hung out there for a couple of years. And
I don't think he was in control of the church at that time. And I said that backstage too.
Yeah.
I think he, after a while, became a pawn to others. But that's a different thing. The other question I had was about the period of change and experimentation that was the 60s and the 70s, and with the whole generation looking for an alternative. How much of a factor was it in the Church of Scientology growing and becoming the powerhouse that it did?
Right.
And so
what I think is interesting about that question is that there are many people today that will say that it's not the powerhouse that we are led to believe that it is. And I mean, how do we ever know that? But I just think that that's an interesting point to put out there if you've not already heard it, that allegedly they're not the powerhouse that they claim that they are.
Or that they used to be. Yeah, it's interesting that the card that came up with this, how much of a factor was the 60s and 70s in people buying into this alternative. It was the classic overindulgence card of the 3 of Cups.
Wow.
Alcohol, drugs, mind-altering, celebration. I mean, a lot of people tried a lot of different things back then.
Yeah.
And a lot of different ways of looking at things.
Okay.
It wasn't a factor where I grew up, that's for sure.
Right.
When I spent my early years, that's for sure.
Nor I. I've got the 9 of Swords. Whoops, sorry, it helps if I put it in the camera. I've got the 9 of Swords. you know,
That makes sense to me.
right?
Yeah.
I want to say, like, I always say bumps in the night with the Nine of Swords. It's like, you know, you're sort of sleeping with one foot on the floor, one eye open kind of idea. We've got the Four of Pentacles, so holding on really tight.
Mm-hmm.
Holding on really tight. Almost like, and when I say holding on tight, it's like keeping your cards close to your vest, as my grandfather used to say, right? Like, you're not sharing all that you know because you don't trust that it is not going to be, you know, misconstrued or taken out of context or used against you or whatever. You're just keeping everything real tight and just be like, you know what I mean? It's that kind of vibe. Then we've got the Four of Swords.
Okay, what I got from those three cards that you showed, the Nine of Swords, the Four of Pentacles, and the Four of Swords, was the Cold War came through to me for that.
Yeah.
With the anxiety, the feeling of insecurity, and the need to step back and escape and take a rest from it.
Yeah.
And of course, fear, wanting to hang on to your autonomy, wanting to hang on to
the bottom of the deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was like also the 50s and the 60s was such a fearsome time for injustice.
Yes.
So they were looking for a way to find more justice in society. As a lot of alternatives are.
Yeah, and I also think that at that time, like with that injustice, there was also so many people that were like sort of breaking out of their boxes or their proverbial boxes, right? Trying to find their freedom and trying to express themselves in a free way. I don't know if this is a question that we want to ask or not, but I wonder. Because of what I just said, do we think that people joined or that the attraction was because it would be so the opposite of what would be okay for them? Do you know what I mean? Like,
I think that there is I think for some people there was an element of that fighting against the last generation and fighting to be able to express themselves and express their own power within themselves. So,
bye, Gerald.
Yeah, they found some aspects of freedom there, but what for a lot of them, what they were searching for, they found out relatively quickly. There was a lot during that time where they brushed with it, went in, explored it. No, man.
Yeah.
What do you mean, man, that you want me to sign up for 1 billion years?
Right.
I mean, come on. No, that is such a drag.
Right.
So I don't think it was so much that alternative hippie.
Well, no, I mean, I don't personally understand it, but I've often wondered if it could be an attraction to get you interested in it. Do you know what I mean? Like promising you whatever.
Oh, promising to diagnose exactly what's wrong with your wife or with your life. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was going to the chemist once, and these guys had a little setup there. I had no idea what it was about, and they said, "Oh yeah, we can have a look. Let's see how you can improve your health." Oh, so I grabbed the little things, and they said, "Every time you mention this person, your blood pressure goes up.
Right.
You've got to get rid of them out of your life."
Yes.
So I'm like, stop that. I love this person.
Yeah.
So what if my blood pressure goes up?
Yeah.
You don't tell me who I can and cannot have in my life. And if you come in, we will tell you how to get rid of them out of your life.
Yeah.
And it's like
one of the things I remember, it was either John Travolta or maybe Tom Cruise, maybe Leah Remini, saying that I don't think it was Tom Cruise because he doesn't often talk about the church. So it must have been another. It was a famous person that was saying that one of the courses that they signed up for. Now, specifically, this was in LA where they have like that big celebrity center. You know, you're a person that's there, you've got no money, you're trying to be an actor, you're trying to go on auditions, and one of the things that they're promoting is communication. We're going to show you, we're going to teach you, we've got a course on effective communication. And it was
they're courses.
sold.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I want to get these auditions. So like, you know, I'm an actor, I need to communicate effectively. So,
but is it really that their ability to communicate is increased, or is it just that they've signed on so they put strings beyond the back in the back rooms, and lo and behold, you start getting auditions and stuff?
Yeah, exactly. So, okay,
what it started out as and what it became. How far away is it today from what it started out as? That's an interesting question.
That is an amazing question. How far away is it? How far away is it? My God, how are we even going to answer this? Okay, we're going to start over here. Oracle cards. Go to the oracles, Kelly. I have the funniest oracle cards out ever, you guys. Just so you know. I've got this thing, Chrissy, where I've got to have all my cards color coordinated, and I was like, this isn't going to work out tonight. But I managed. So now, I was just telling Chrissy.
Elemental oracle ad.
I was telling Chrissy when we got backstage that I just found out today that Leah Remini has filed a lawsuit against the Church of Scientology, and the first judge that was on the case, the lawyers for Leah Remini asked for that person to step down or be removed or whatever the legal terminology is, and then a second judge was assigned, and that judge just recused herself today.
Okay, wow! I pulled two elemental oracle cards, and the first one was oceans, and it's. But I'm asking this in the literal sense. So even though it's got the subheading of bravery here, it's like oceans apart from what it started out as.
Yeah.
And it takes a very brave person to stand up and say, hey, look. Now, the other one was north. And to me, when I see north, it's the North Star, the guiding star, and expand. And the word here is expansion. But this card came out reversed. It lost its way, or was taken away from its original path.
Yeah.
For the need to expand and gain more power through that expansion.
Yeah.
That's
it's interesting what you got. So I had this card here called Summon. Now, when you were talking about the North Star, I'm literally looking at this card and I'm like, that is the North Star. It's like the magic touch almost, right? And what I mean by that is, again, it's sort of lending itself to starting to believe in the story that you create, right? And then I've got fulfillment. And when I see those two together, I think it was, I want to say, like, you're a legend in your own mind. Do you know what I mean? Like, they made
a legend in your own lunchtime,
like they made it the thing that it was, not that it really was ever the thing that we thought it was. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Okay, so now, friends, this is what I want to do real quick. So, Shelley Miscavige, David Miscavige, which is the new leader that replaced L. Ron Hubbard. His wife has been missing. I'm sure you all know the story that she hasn't been seen since like 2005 or 2006 or whatever the case is. And Leah Remini filed missing persons report, and the report got closed. And anyways, so the police, the LA police, say that they have seen her, They did like a I don't know what y'all call it there, like a wellness check or whatever, and that she's fine. I want to know what the cards tell us about how is she? Like, where's her head at? Well, that might be a lot of cards, just like how is she? And then everyone, I encourage you to go if you're looking for something to do. Chrissey is on at 10 p.m. live on her channel. Do go check her out, hang out with her. What are you doing tonight, Chrissey?
I'm just going to be doing my usual checking in on what's happening in Trump world and all that. And before we go, you wanted to look at some parallels between the growth of Scientology.
I just pulled one card. I got the full.
She's on a journey. I got interesting. You got the start of the journey. I got the end.
That's funny, really, when you think about it. But oh my God, that's crazy.
And I got the Four of Wands again. Security within a house.
Lovers is on the bottom of my deck.
Look, I think I just keep seeing the same thing around and around. It's like a never-ending journey for her.
Yeah.
Is she ever going to? Am I ever going to escape this and stuff like that? And she can, but she just needs to be brave enough to make that break.
Yeah.
And there'll be some impetus. Can she make that break? I think she can. You know, Leah Remini's journey started out with one question.
Yeah, exactly.
What's her name?
Shelly Miscavige. And look what I got.
Where is Shelly? Where is Shelly?
You said, will that impetus ever come? There you go. So, one day. When she decides if she
break away and celebration of breaking away and out into the freedom. Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So how do we ask that question about the parallels between
it's actually want to know what went through my head? It's actually a pretty age-old formula. You keep repeating the same thing. You zero in on a source of insecurity for people, and you keep repeating the same thing. I'm going to make it better for you. I'm going to make it better for you. I'm going to make it better.
Well, also, it's like, when you go to a specific area. Like if I went into the agricultural community and started talking about, I don't know, like electric cars and stuff and, computers, not saying that the agricultural community doesn't use those things, but that's probably not number one on their priority list, right? Number one on their priority list might be trains, so that they can get their goods shipped, or solar panels to heat their or irrigation systems, water, you know what I mean? So yes, Thomas has hit people's fear. Yeah. Sort of like what I said before about like the LA the actors and effective communication. They're like, yes, that's exactly what I need. It's kind of like that kind of vibe I'm getting. Interesting card. And I think it speaks volumes to what we're talking about. So the real truth, the real insides, the real stuff is invisible to the human eye because they keep that hidden, right? And I mean, we've heard that for years for both parties. And this is why I said this card was interesting, because I got playful. And it's literally like Thomas said, hit people's fears. And before that, he said, I do believe in my own narrative. And this playful, it's, if you look at the card, it's like baiting someone, right? Like dangling that carrot in front of their eyes, just long enough to get them to grab at it.
Yep.
So to me, that says, yes, it is very similar in its attachment factor.
I got 3 cards on this, and the parallels is that wanting a better world.
Yeah.
Honing in on people who want a better world.
Yes.
For themselves, for their families, for their communities. But also these people want an easier way to get it. So it's like, I'm going to step in and I'm going to be the judge here, and I'm going to make sure that people answer for their crimes against you. And I will also provide for you with the Queen of Pentacles, who is the provider. So basically it's a very age-old the cult of people stepping up and saying, I will protect you because you are part of my family now. I will protect you and I will provide for you.
Right.
So people hand over their free will.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not just, and you know what, this applies to an extent to most religions. There is an aspect of that. I will hand over my faith and my power to this entity or that entity, in the knowledge that they will look after me and find justice for me and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We all want that. We all want to be looked after.
To be embraced, by something, by many somethings, whatever. And if you are broken, if you are hurt, if you are feeling lack in some way, shape, or form, you could be very easily swayed when you normally wouldn't be easily swayed, right?
Yeah.
If you're promised the right thing. Right.
Yeah. Those parallels are very there in the way in which people who can twist the narrative to suit themselves and drag others into believe them.
I think that there's also a strong component of, you listen to what I'm saying. I'm going to give you all your literature. I'm going to, you're only going to listen to my radio stations, my TV stations. You're only going to read my books. You don't listen. There's a lot of that sort of stoking of the fire, that you almost put like the fear into someone that if they do X or Y, only not great things might happen to you. Do you know what I mean?
99.9999999% of the people who have this ability to draw you into their world and make you feel safe or comfortable within their world, they become best-selling authors. Yeah. The others, they become cult leaders. And I can use this ability to make money through selling books. That's great.
Right.
Well, there's no harm in that, writing a story and all that, and writing such good stories that you can't wait to read the next one. I've got a couple of my favorite authors are like that. Or I will go back and read them again and again and again. But it's when I will use this ability to draw people and take control of their lives and take control of their money and their finances and their free will. That is the cult leader.
Yeah, absolutely.
Comes out of it, and I'm a selling author.
Yeah, no, 100%. I want to ask real quick, if we can, before you go, and I know you've got to run. How is this lawsuit going to work out for Leah Remini? That's what I want to ask.
Oh. hear Amy's lawsuit. I think that I'm not quite sure the mechanics of it all and stuff.
Yeah.
10 of Pentacles. I get fulfillment of all wishes. Coming to the logical conclusion, and the conclusion that is good for her and the people around her. It'll work out well.
I got the Strength card and the 10 of Cups.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've got the 7 of Wands on the bottom of the deck, so it's going to be a challenge for her. It's just going to be a challenging time.
Lady. She is a strong lady, and much to admire about her. Yeah. I mean, she didn't voluntarily go into Scientology.
No, 100%.
She was introduced to it when she was 2 years old, when her mother joined, know, and it was like she was brought up in it.
Yeah.
And to have the strength to say, hey, no, everything I was brought up to believe is just...
Especially when you understand what's at stake. Allegedly,
She saw through the illusions.
Yeah.
She saw through the illusions. What a strength of character. What a strength
100%,
of character.
100%. All right, friends. Thank you so much, Chrissy, for joining me. I so appreciate it. This was a lot of fun. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. This is one of those readings that I think almost could be more for me than for anybody else, because I really wanted to do this, right?
Well, like I said, if people find happiness and strength and joy and comfort and security in whatever religion or whatever movement they choose to follow, that is fine. You just have to be aware of pitfalls, and even
100%.
And I would never tell anyone don't join this or don't join that. I mean, just because
a lot of people could say that, like tarot readers or whatever, like, we're don't, and we're, not to use the words of Teresa Caputo, I'm not here to convince anybody of one thing or the other. I'm not trying to, stir the pot. I'm curious as to, no different than
there's so much going on with this, with this organization, so much legal stuff and other stuff that is going on, and so much investigation that is going on. But that is for those people who have the skills and the correct intent and the right intent, and to take care of and make decisions about.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, I wouldn't go near them with a bar of soap, and that's my personal opinion.
Yeah, no.
With a bar of soap.
I love it. I love it.
With a 10-foot pole. But
I love it.
Never tell anyone not to do it.
Well, no, again, it's for entertainment purposes only. This is what we do. We toss cards and we ask questions. And this is something that I enjoyed doing because I wanted to do it for a while. So I thank you for being here. Everybody have yourselves a great weekend. If you're wanting to do something or you're looking to hang out for a little while longer, Chrissy is on right after this. Again, her channel is Footprint Tarot. I'm going to stick, wrong. I have it all on sticky notes here. So this is Chrissy's link. Do go check her out. Give her a sub and a thumbs up and a happy face and all that good stuff. Chrissy goes live usually on Friday nights and Sundays, right?
Yes. Normally I'm live 9:30 p.m. in the Eastern United States, but I put it back half an hour so I could do this with you. And I've really enjoyed it. And an interesting thing to look at the origins of things like this.
Yeah.
Without necessarily telling people good, bad, or whatever.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, that's for other people to make those judgments, not for me.
True.
Yeah.
So if you're lucky enough to go over to Chrissy's channel, you may see Mr. Footprint Tarot handing her a cup of coffee. She and I she and I have very supportive partners that help us do this YouTube thing that we do. So
day away
so
from the house.
oh, is he?
But he loves that people say hello, and he really does appreciate it. And he always, I don't even need him to say hello to people for me, because I know he wants me to. So So anyway, I do have to go.
All right.
3 minutes. So
my
thank
friend,
you so much for
blessings to you. Have a good live.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye, Chrissy. So everybody, go check Chrissy out if you haven't already done so. Don't forget to give us the thumbs up. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was just something different to look at. And what else? What else is going on? You guys got any news? Anything exciting? Hi, Tiffany. Hi, Scorpio Mama. Quincy, what are you doing, darling? Quincy does not want to go anywhere but sitting on my desk. So, Tiffany, I could do like I could toss a couple of cards and just do like a general kind of, thing for you, if that might help. You'll have to give me a moment just to get some different cards out because of what I was reading on. I don't really have appropriate cards. Quincy, you have to get down, honey. You have to get down. You sit there. You stay there, okay? You stay there on the desk. You're welcome. Give me a sec to get them out here. Oh no, Bims. So those are my cats duking it out in the background. Sharon Sype, are you feeling any better? No? Oh, that's good. All right, so I pulled 3 cards for you, Tiffany, 3 oracle cards, and now I'm just going to toss a couple of tarot cards, okay? Just bear with me here. Sorry. Normally it doesn't take me this long, but I had to get different decks out, as I said. So the first card that I got out for you, Tiffany, is forgiveness. Forgiveness is a difficult thing. It is not easy for anyone to do, whether you are the forgiver or the forgivee, meaning either you need to be forgived or you need to offer forgiveness for another. And sometimes when we have been wronged or a situation has hurt us in some way, we find it difficult to allow ourselves or give ourselves permission, shall we call it, to say, I'm okay with what you did. I'm okay with that situation. I want you to try to think of forgiveness in this way, as opposed to that way. This way is to say, I have given that person, that situation, that circumstance, all of my energy because I've been embraced and burdened with how could I be so silly? How could I fall for that? How could I allow that to happen? That type of thing. And I got that. I got that card, Tiffany. I got that card right there. Your loved ones are safe. So thank you for saying that. Reclaim your power back. So what I mean by that is if you take charge of yourself, if you take charge of your thoughts, feelings, and emotions, it doesn't matter about any of the other stuff. This is about you saying, okay, you know what? I have done 1, 2, 3, X, Y, Z, whatever. And now I have to stand on my own 2 feet and move forward. Now, bear with me for a second. So we've got that, the forgiveness, right? The second card that I've got is anxiety. I have anxiety panic disorder. So I understand what anxiety can do to you. The third card that I've got is your loved ones are safe. This card says, let go of your fear and worry for your loved ones. I am looking after them. This card is from the Archangel Michael Sword of Light deck. Your tarot cards, the 7 of Earth. You're patiently sort of waiting for this feeling or this time to pass. And when I say patiently, I don't know that you are being patient, but I feel like you're just like, if I could just make it through, I know I'm going to be okay. Like, I don't believe that you're not telling yourself that. I feel like you have invested in yourself, whether, you going to school, you have a job, a career, whatever it might be. This is not how you want to be. You want to like get on with your life is what I'm trying to say. We've got the Ace of Water and the Ace of Cups. Cups are all about your emotions. This is emotions, it's relationships, it's your intuition. It's in the reverse. Okay. So that means like everything is like out of balance, out of whack. It's all over the place. Like 1 minute you're fine, the next minute you're not. Okay. And I'm not telling you anything that you don't already know. I'm just telling you that this is literally what's coming through in the cards. Okay. Then we've got the Knight of Earth or the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is about getting things done. It's about getting to work. What I mean by that is like going after something. Like I need to lose 20 pounds, and you get to, you sign up at the gym, you start eating, more healthily, whatever. I think that the way that you're going to be able to do that is obviously being patient, kind to yourself. You need to reduce this anxiety by allowing yourself the permission to be okay. Now, I'm going to say this to you. I feel like I'm going to cry, and I'm just saying, I know where you are right now, because I've been there. It's not an easy spot to be in. It is scary on many, many levels. We don't think in this moment, in this place, that we have the ability, the strength, the power to make any decisions whatsoever, that we have any control over ourselves at all. The fact of the matter is that you do. And until you are ready to recognize, and that is not a blame or shame, you have to put in the work to get to the point where you're able to recognize that you do actually have the power to pull yourself up and out of this sort of state of mind, or this state of being, or this state of living, or whatever verbiage you want to put on it. And the way that you do that, right there. Whatever you are holding on to, whatever burden, whatever weight is placed on your shoulders, and I'm reading all of your comments. Whatever you're holding on to, it is weighing you down like you've got cement shoes on. And in order for you to be able to feel like you're stepping forward freely without that weight, you've got to let it go. Right? You've got to let it go. Now, having said all of that, once you let that go, what's going to happen is your vibration is going to lift up, right? Because that weight is no longer holding on to you. When your vibration starts to open up and starts to rise, all of a sudden your mental clarity comes back, your focus comes back, you can think clearly, you can see a future, you can see opportunities, possibilities, you have reason to celebrate. It's okay for you to laugh. You don't just want to curl up in the fetal position all the time. And I know it can happen because I did it. On the bottom of the deck, you've got the Two of Swords, confusion and a crossroads, having to make hard choices and decisions. So if there is a decision right now that you are contemplating making, that's why that's coming up. I say this many, many times on this channel. The reason I started this channel is because I was in this place that you are in. I understand it. And I feel for you. Truly, I do. And if you want to come here whenever I'm on, and I'll toss cards for you, and I will do everything that I can to help you get to the point where you arrive at the point that you know that you're ready to take control. Take control of the fear is really what it is. Anxiety is based on fear. And fear is your sort of safety, protective sort of mechanism, right? Where it can help you to get out of a negative situation or a bad situation, you know, because that all of a sudden your little flags are going up, and you're like, oh, because you react to it. But when the fear holds you hostage, when you start imagining situations to be fearful, so you're afraid of the doctor, you're afraid to go to the store, you're afraid to get in the car, you're afraid to leave your house. That's when it's time to try to get your control back. Well, you're very welcome. Well, I'm going to share with you that you have just put that in the chat. And we've just had this conversation. And you openly, I don't know you, you don't know me, you've come in here and you've openly shared your situation and your, a little bit of your story. And because you were brave enough and trusting enough and open enough to do that, you could help another person that is in this chat right now or listening or will listen in the future to this video. You could help them by just being open and being honest and being brave to say, you know what, I'm not really okay with where I'm at or with what's happening, and I need a little bit of help. Being vulnerable and asking for help is one of the hardest things for people to do, and I think it's incredibly courageous. So don't think that you don't help by asking those kinds of questions, right? It's only the questions that you don't ask that you don't get the answers to, or you walk away and wonder to yourself, could I have done that differently to make a greater impact? Or would it have had a greater impact if I had done it differently? Do you know what I mean? And you don't have to apologize for making me cry. I didn't cry, but I almost felt like I was going to cry. I get very emotional about this because it touches me, because that was my life. So I get it. I get the place that you're at. It's not a good place. Just know that you're not alone. There's community has many readers and lots of places for you to go, feel loved and supported and accepted and appreciated, and like you're a member of the tribe and the family. Basically just making you feel welcome. Do you know what I mean? And I hope that you know that, like, I mean that sincerely. I'm not just saying that because I want a thumbs up. I'm saying that because it's the truth. At least that's how I operate. I shouldn't really speak for the others, but that's how I operate. Anyways, I thank you very much for coming in here. And I appreciate you trusting me with your story. And I hope that some of what I said made sense and helps in some sort of way. Like I said, literally been there. And I'm sorry for the loss of your friend. So, friends, what do we think? I don't know who all's still here. Meaning I can see the number of people that are watching, but I don't know who's still with me. But, you're very welcome, Tiffany. Many blessings to you, my dear. So I'm going to call it a night, you guys, because I read for a couple hours earlier today, and a couple of hours, or like just over an hour now. I'm a little pooped out. Had a busy week, my first week back off from my vacation. Hey, Cloister, how you doing? So I'm going to say goodnight. I will be back on Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern. I have my niece joining me. We're going to be talking about strengthening our intuition and how we go about doing that. So I'm looking forward to that. And Gerald is with me on Wednesday. Of course, make sure that you're subscribed and that your bell notification is checked off so that you don't miss, anything. And don't forget that the daily reads are up there and the weekend reading is up there and all that other good stuff. Oh, you just joined about 10 minutes ago? Yeah, I know there's lots of shows going on right now. Bim's made it back in. Woohoo! Did you? Oh, congratulations. That's wonderful. How's that been? It's hot there, right? Good grief. It is hot there. Hot, hot, hot. I'm pooped. Last night I did, was it last night? No, it was Wednesday. That's how bad it is that I can't actually remember what day is what. I think Wednesday night I was out at the fire pit. I did like a whole like new moon ritual-y kind of thing. It was great. Did you really? Oh, that sounds fabulous. Yeah, the whole city of Yellowknife is being evacuated, and now it's moving into British Columbia. They're starting to evacuate. They're wildfires. My brother-in-law is in the Northwest Territories, so that's kind of scary. He's there on supposed to be on a like a pleasure trip. Quincy, darling, you cannot be up here. Thank you. So we're kind of concerned about him because they've closed the airport, so they can't leave, and they've evacuated the city, as you said. So yeah, it's pretty upsetting. It is pretty upsetting. And now it's spreading into British Columbia. I just seen that on the news before I came live. So we still have wildfires going on here in Ontario. There's still we just had an air quality advisory just a couple of days ago from the smoke. And then of course there's everything that's going on in Hawaii. It's just there's a hurricane headed right for California right now. Temperatures have been extraordinarily warm and dry. I believe that Texas is in a drought. Their ground is so dry that it's like cracking. You know what I mean? They've got like a water restrictions going on. It's just so much, just so much, so much. So much going on in the world. And in terms of crazy kind of, when I say crazy, I mean like unexpected, sort of out of the normal. And it's not just like out of the normal weather. It's like it swings so far one way and then swings so far the other way that that in my opinion sort of almost strengthens the impact, if you will. You know what I mean? Like makes it stand out even more because it's so out of the ordinary. Like one day it's 18, the next day it's 40, and then you're back to like 20 some odd. It's so all over the place. It's sort of almost hard to follow some days. I say we all go to A. Coister's cabin. That sounds fabulous. A cabin in the woods. That would be beautiful. That would be so peaceful. Oh, wow. 31 and now it's 11, yeah. I would love for you to share with us if you feel like it. That would be lovely. By the way, I do want to mention that for those of you that know who Mel Dorr is, Linda G put a post up earlier today giving us an update that Mel has gone back into hospital. And at that time, there was like 390 comments there, just, giving prayers and sending love and kindness towards him and his family. So if you guys follow Linda G and you would like to leave a comment there, you can do that. I'll try to find it and put it in my community page so that you guys can find it easier. Or just, say your own prayer. That would be greatly appreciated. I'm sure Mel is a great person, and we wish him the very, very best on this journey. You said after the estate sale, I didn't have a pot to piss in. Right? Hi, Jay. How are you, my friend? It's good to see you. I was literally just thinking about you today. Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely, Aquisir. I love that. I'm doing okay, Jay. I was off for 2 weeks. I took a little vacation for my birthday and redid my office, and I'm a little tired at this moment, but I'm doing well. Thank you. Oh, that's so lovely. Well, now see, that is beautiful. That is beautiful, my friend. How was my day on the anniversary of my dad's passing? It was okay. That was the day of the new moon, and so I was out at the fire pit, and I did a little release out at the fire pit, and I just recorded a journal entry. You know how I do the journal entries every once in a while, so I just recorded a journal entry and asked for a message from my dad, and it was the most amazing message ever. And so I will be posting that up when I'm done here for you guys to see and listen to. It was good. It was really, really good. Oh, thanks, Pims. I appreciate that very much, my friend. Blessings. Aquisher says also the cabin is 600 square feet, but there is also a front porch and a back porch. That sounds amazing. You know, when I was just speaking with Tiffany before about forgiveness. You know, that old adage about time heals wounds. I don't know that I believe that. I think that time makes it easier. I don't know that the wound goes away if you don't try to properly process your thoughts and feelings and emotions about said burden or wound or pain. And the other night when I was doing my release at the fire pit on the new moon, I was talking, I was saying something, and I went through the whole, like, the setting of the intention, and then the grounding with to manifest the intention, and then we journal about the intention, and now I'm going to release any negativity that may hinder my intention having its best sort of foot forward for success. And so I went through that whole process, and when I was going through that process and I was talking and I was saying what I was saying without even thinking about it, it sort of, like, another little puzzle piece sort of fell into play, if you will. And it was great. It was very helpful. I felt it, I understood it, and I walked away feeling, just sort of like less than I felt going into it, if that makes sense. Like, I felt the relief and the release. So I felt less. I didn't feel like I was carrying a big burden. It's been a little difficult this week because the day that my father passed, 4 days later, one of his younger brothers passed, as I've told you guys. And I just found out last week on my birthday that my dad's actual youngest brother is dying. So it was a little bittersweet, thinking about my dad in just all of that context, right? Thanks, Pims. Many blessings to you. I appreciate that very much. It's very kind of you to say, and I really do appreciate it. Thank you. I'm sorry, Kosher. That's the toxic environment can be so overwhelming, and sometimes we don't even know that we're in a toxic environment or we're in a toxic situation, and then other times we're painfully aware and we feel like we have no way out, no choice, no alternative, and that we must stay and endure. And I don't know which one is more difficult to deal with or more painful to navigate, because in my opinion they're both equally destructive to your person. You know what I mean? I'm glad that you've gotten past that, and I'm very happy for you. Hi, Bernie girl. Yeah, it's been an interesting week. It's been an interesting week. Oh, you're still here, Tiffany? Okay, good. But yeah, so life is such a ride, is it not, friends? It is such a ride. When we have these things, right? Good, bad, small, big, whatever they may be, that happen to us as we navigate, our life. It's so difficult to hear someone who's positive or someone who has good things happen to them and feel like you're not in control of your own destiny or your own life, right? Truly wasn't until I came to this community and had a much different understanding of what joy was, about love, about gratitude. I always thought that I was a grateful person, but I don't know that I actually knew what that meant. I was just like everybody else, busy doing my thing, making things happen. If someone asked me if I was grateful, I'd be like, yeah, I'm great. Yeah, sure. I'm grateful for all I have, or whatever. But that's not the kind of gratitude that I now know. Now my gratitude and my understanding of gratitude is much more broad, much wider. Step outside, for example, and spend a few seconds just looking around, right? Watch the chipmunks and the squirrels running up the tree, and the flowers sort of swaying in the breeze, and the vibrant colors and the fragrance, and the ants crawling around the ground, and the trees so like incredibly strong. The trunks are like the size of 4 lamp posts, and they're so tall and brave, and yet their branches are so flimsy, and they just sway back and forth, and the leaves dance in the wind, and sort of skip along with the sunlight and cast shadows and light. And if you allow yourself to look around, you can see so many living blessings happening right in front of you. I mean, it's life, it's energy. And if you can sometimes look at things in such a simplistic form, you would be amazed at the smile that can be then placed upon your face, right? That, how your heart can open up to that if you allow yourself to. Walk over to a tree and stick your hand on the bark of it and just hold on to it. Just stand there. And then think about that tree. Think about how long that tree has been there, and all the elements that it has weathered, and all the storms, and all the rain, and the animals crawling up it, and how many birds have created families in that tree, and how many squirrels have run up and down it, and store acorns in its holes and stuff. When you allow yourself to sort of see those things for what they truly are, it starts to change your perspective. It starts to change your viewpoint, and it allows you to see things from a very sort of simple way instead of such a complex and complicated way, which is kind of indicative of our lifestyle, right? We're very complex and busy creatures. We're moving, we're shaking, we're doing 8 things at once. Simple things sort of like fly right past us, and we don't really give them the attention or the notice that we deserve. And being in this community has taught me how to just sort of appreciate what I have, and sort of not take things for granted in the same way that I might have done prior, right? So let me just go back up here. Bim says, Bim says it can be a beautiful ride with a bump here and there, 100%. Tiffany says, yep, a huge bumpy ride. And of course, she says, that's why I shared. I felt like I was going through the darkest night of the soul I had ever had for 9 months. And it feels like 9 years probably, right? Tiffany said, that's exactly how I put it. The darkest night of the soul. Can't wait to get through it. And you will get through it, my friend. You will get through it. Bernie Girl says, I've had a very interesting week. Uncle passed away. Oh, I'm so sorry, Bernie Girl. My condolences to you and your family. My uncle passed away at acupuncture. Could hear someone's breath beside me. No one there. Next morning, TV was made. Alarm sound and was not on. All right, Bims, have a good night, love. Many blessings to you. Thank you so much for popping in. I appreciate you. Inquisitor says, and less than 1 month later, I almost feel reborn, full of joy and self-confidence I have never had, and totally fearless. Susan Lynn might say I've had a walk-in, 100%. Oh, hi, MK Karen. Brittany girl, I'm so sorry about your uncle, but I feel like you were told or let know, if that makes sense, somehow. Someone was trying to give you a sort of heads up about that. Aw, thanks, MK Karen. You're so kind. You're so kind, my friend. Today I asked a question of Spirit. I was talking to Spirit out loud and asking them a question, or asking a question for a little bit of guidance and a little bit of support, I guess, is really what I was asking. And I said, I'll just leave it in your capable hands. Thank you. And literally, I said thank you, and my phone dinged. And I kind of was like, what? I'm famous for keeping my phone on silent, so that was one of the reasons why I did that, was because I didn't even know it was on. So anyways, and then when I went to open up my phone to check why I got the ding, I noticed it was 11:11. And then this afternoon, I got an email at 1:11, and I was like, got it. And that's like another discovery, right? We oftentimes want, I want to know what the message is. I want to know what that means. I want to know. I mean, we're human beings. We're curious creatures. We want to know the answers, right? We need to know the information, all the facts, all of the stuff. I have a very different perspective of all of that now. I may not necessarily know exactly what the validation is, or why I'm hearing the ding, or why I see 11:11, or when I'm tossing cards, why I feel a particular way. Like but I don't question it anymore, is kind of where I was going with it. I just accept it and say thank you so much, right? I'm just super tired, MK Karen. Just super, super tired. I was on a 2-week vacation for my birthday, right? So I took a 2-week vacation, and I came back this week, and I literally did like 6 shows in a row. So Wednesday was on twice, Friday was on twice. So I was just a little a little tired. But other than that, I'm ready to go. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like you totally see, and that's the thing. Like, you can sense stuff and not know that you're sensing it, and I don't. It's one of those things that's really difficult for me personally to articulate into words, because it's not something that I think that I rationally or even logically understand. I only can tell you what I do, and that is, I don't question it. It's like when I toss cards, I fully commit to whatever is happening here. I don't ask it, because it doesn't matter what I think. It's about me telling you what Spirit has given me for you. And I have to be fully invested, and I have to fully trust what I'm being given is meant for you. And I have to trust that you're going to come back and say, yes, no, indifferent, whatever. I'm not saying I'm like that in all aspects of my life, but when it comes to spiritual stuff, I just fully trust it. I don't question it. The universe knows and spirit knows. I don't necessarily need to know, but I do know that they've got my back, and I do know that they protect me, and that they embrace me. So I don't allow myself to feel any kind of like anxiety towards it, which for me to say that is a big deal, right? I hope that makes sense. I don't know if that came out right or not, but I think that you just really have to try to own it, if you know what I mean. And if you felt that way, that was a validation and to you that you were picking up something, right? That your intuition or your vibe or whatever, however you felt it, was accurate, right? Wow. I just want to say that thank you, MK Karen. My birthday was awesome, and my puppy is fine. Yeah. Well, what I guess what I'm trying to say, and the reason why I say it like that is because, and MK Karen knows, Jay knows. Like when I started my channel, and I know that I've said this before, and I don't know that people fully understand what I'm saying, or maybe you just don't, maybe people don't care, maybe it's like old news, but when I started my channel, I had no idea that I had any kind of spiritual connection. I had no idea how to read cards. I'd never read a card before, never even tried to, didn't own a tarot deck, didn't own any oracle cards, none of that. That is not what my channel was about. So for me to now sit here on this side and say to you that I fully embrace it and fully open it, that is a gift that was given to me by spirit, because I didn't trust myself for a very long time. Because of my anxiety, I didn't know that my gut instinct even worked, or that my, that little knowing that I always had was even still happening for me. I didn't know any of that stuff was still even a possibility for me. I guess I want to say I didn't trust anything about myself. And so that's a gift that spirit has given me, and it was a commitment that I made to spirit, because you gave me this, you let me know that I have this. So, okay, whatever this connection is. So, okay, I'm going to fully commit to it. And so when I show up here, I fully commit to it. I don't question it. I don't need to be right. And I'm not trying to like toot my own horn. I usually get that I'm close, or that I resonate with people more times than I don't. And it's not really even about that. It's just about I have to commit. Oh, thank you very much, Tiffany. You're very kind. Many blessings to you, my dove. I appreciate that very much. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but like, so for me to come here and just be like, yeah, let's do this, I was not part of the plan. It was like I was the last person at the party to show up and be told that it was a costume party. Do you know what I mean? I had no idea. I had no idea. Oh, thanks, MK Karen. And that's the other thing. Like when I, when you tell people things and you don't know if they're, they could be blowing sunshine up your skirt because they don't know what else to say to you. But when I tell people that I've only been reading tarot for a year, they're like, wow. I guess for me, you know, my mom's favorite word is believe. You guys all know that, and well, most of you do. And I believe in me, and I believe in what's happening here, and so I just committed to it, and it feels amazing. I can't say that it doesn't feel amazing. So it took a while for you to see that there was a channel of spirit. Well, I've always been fascinated by spiritual stuff, and I can't say I've been in this community for years, but I didn't know that I had any part of that. You know what I mean? It's not like I've been seeing stuff since I was 4 years old. I have always had like a knowing, like I know when something's not right with the people that I care about. Like if I know something's wrong with my sister or whatever, like I've had that. That's it. But on the other hand, I've been fighting, severe anxiety for like 12 years. So it's possible that wasn't anxiety that because and that makes sense, because that's when I started to see, the 1111 and all of that kind of stuff. So like maybe it was happening and I just wasn't aware of it. But yeah. My healing journey was, the release and the weight lifted in one significant experience. Then the next major component was the forgiveness. And then the next major component was trusting myself with the help of spirit, if that makes sense. Oh yeah, no, my husband is a rock star. He's like my biggest cheerleader. Oh, hi, Shelby, Lisa, welcome back. You were 13 when you saw stuff, yeah. So Aquester said, sorry, I'm just going back. So it took a while for you to see that there was a channel to spirit. I feel it's obvious that you were channeling. It's funny because, okay, like I'm not trying to out myself here, so and I'm not trying to like disparage myself in any way, so I don't want anyone to take it like that. But like when I sit here now, this Kelly, and I think about the Kelly that used to show up, I bought Oracle decks because I was like, well, it seems like a good idea. I just did it. I wanted some. And I would sit here because I smoke and I didn't want to smoke on my channel. And I would just pick up the decks of cards and I would just start shuffling, to keep my hands busy because I'm a fidgeter, because I have anxiety. So I would just sit here and shuffle the cards. And, let's say Shelby Lisa said self. And I would like, oh my God, how funny is that? I just picked up a card. It said shelf. And I'd keep, and then MK Karen would say, something else. And I'd be like, oh my God, how funny is that? Like the people in the chat, if you were in my chat back when I first started, were like, you're a reader. Hello. And I was like, that's and I just, it was like there was a brick wall in front of me. And I was like, it's the funniest thing ever. They were like yelling at me most nights going, you're a reader. You're a reader. You're a reader. And I was like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I don't know why it's happening. It's just the weirdest quinky dink. And then all of a sudden, I allowed myself to just believe and just trust and just grow and go, with it. And I just was like, you know what? One day it's like, here I am. I'm owning it. I guess I want to say I sort of put it all on the table and went, all right. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense. And I'm not trying to like make myself look like a superstar or anything. I'm just saying like that was my experience. I am now aware that I resisted it for a long time. But in the moment, I wasn't aware that that's what I was doing. I honestly thought people were just saying that because that's what we all say. Do you know what I mean? I didn't believe. And now I believe, because my mom was right. You must believe. Something she used to say. She literally put her hands like that, her fingers. You must believe. Oh, thank you, M. King Karen. Blessings to you, my friend. Bernie Girl says, I was told that I have to turn mine on because I saw shadows that scared me and prayed for it to stop when young. Now I smell when someone visits, like right now there is a smoke smell. 100% Shelby Lisa. Like they literally were hollering at me. Well, in terms of turning it on, because everybody's gift is different and everybody approaches their gift in a different way. That's just my opinion. I feel that, the one thing that we all share commonly in terms of, our connection is, you must have boundaries in place. It's got to be like a start button and an off button, or an on button and a not on button. You know what I mean? There's got to be rules and guidelines and boundaries and parameters that you set for yourself, so that you're not like on. I mean, mom can't be like on all the time, right? Dad can't be on all the time. Teacher can't be on all the time. You have to have balance in your life, and this is no different. So your connection will always be there, but depending on what your particular practice is, you should be able to set up boundaries that allow you to be able to maintain your life, like get sleep well and to eat well and to to have some playtime and some to have some downtime. You know what I'm saying? Thanks, Caker, you're so sweet. Yeah, I've had that like a couple of times, the smell thing, but it's not like a common thing for me, the smell thing. I've really only had that like 2 or 3 times, but like it was so powerful. And I'm not asking you to share, Burning Girl, unless of course you want to. Like when that happens, so when you sense the smell, right? Do you acknowledge the smell? Do you acknowledge that that someone is there, or do you wait for them to approach you, or how do you navigate that? Like the first couple of times that I had, visions or experiences, whatever you want to call them, I was kind of like, oh boy, and I was like mute. I didn't say anything. And then as I sort of like, as I started to like trust myself, I became less freaked out because, again, I wasn't aware. It's like one day I was, Kelly, like doing X, and the next day I was like some other person doing something totally different. And it took my mind a little bit of a minute to sort of catch up. You know what I mean? Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, I think that if someone was to ask me, like, how do you turn it on, or how do you turn it off, or how do you navigate, how do you work with it, that I would say, you have to have a set of rules and a set of boundaries, ethics, guidelines, whatever verbiage you want to put on it, so that you feel balanced, that you feel safe, that you feel grounded, right? And I sort of feel, and I could be wrong, but I sort of feel that everyone has their thing that they do. There's no right way, there's no wrong way. This brings up a pet peeve that I have that I will get to in a moment. Don't let me forget about my pet peeve, okay? But as you do what you do, you navigate that space. No different than you navigate. You got to go to the doctors, got to go to groceries, whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? Pretty girl says, yes, I acknowledge the one time that the person approached, they wanted my daughter and I didn't tell her. The smoke was so bad I was crying. Once I called her down, he stopped. She can see and hear. Wow. And you do things to fully keep yourself protected at all times, right? Obviously, I'm assuming. So my pet peeve. So recently, someone I was in a chat and someone was in a chat at the same time as I was and said that they had watched some, I don't know, TikTok video or something where I guess the person was saying things like basically, like if you don't do XYZ 1 2 3, then you're basically not a real card reader, or you're not really channeling spirit or whatever. I didn't watch the video, so I'm only going by hearsay, but I've seen videos like that, that you shouldn't watch tarot card readers, or you shouldn't watch psychics, and that's fake and that's phony. And before I read tarot, before I felt like I had any connection to spirit, I have family members whose children took their own lives within like a year of each other. I've never seen a family experience that kind of pain as a collected unit, if you know what I mean, or a collective unit. It was honestly one of the hardest experiences that I've ever dealt with. And one of my family members went to see a psychic medium who provided her with so much relief and so much comfort. She was getting all kinds of, opinions and backlash and this, that, and the other thing, like, oh, they could have known this, or they could have looked that up. And I thought to myself, like, did you see the same person that I saw? Because why would you prefer that version? She felt in that moment that the medium gave her a sense of peace and answers, understanding, closure, whatever verbiage you want to put on it. And I'd give anything not to see her the way that she was. Curled up in the fetal position, holding onto a trash can. For years. Hiding in the closet because she was too afraid to step outside the closet when she was home by herself. So she went to see somebody that provided her with some comfort, and it brought her joy. And other people had opinions and said it was wrong and she shouldn't have done it, and they're abusing her and they're taking her money and blah, 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 yada, yada. And I sort of, so my point is this. You know, my mom raised me, if you got nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. It doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what you think. It only matters about what the person thinks that's going through whatever it is that they're going through. We need to be a lot more compassionate in this world and try to imagine ourselves in that other person's place when we're having conversations, or when we're trying to be a good friend, or we're trying to be a good tarot reader, whatever, a good partner, a good friend, a good sister, a good mother, whatever. Because for all of us that have gone through pain and hurt and disappointment in our life, which is pretty much everyone, and we need someone to talk to, the worst things that people can say is, I understand how you feel. And you're hearing, no, you don't. Because no matter who you are, your pain is your pain. And in the moment when you're experiencing that pain, it feels like the worst pain imaginable. And you can't logically arrive at that destination that someone else has experienced this kind of pain before. Because you wouldn't wish it on your worst enemy. It's like the worst thing ever that someone can say to you. I get it. I mean, I've said it. I probably said it 100 times tonight. I say it all the time, but I usually back it up with a fact. Do you know what I mean? That like I understand because I've had this happen to me. And I guess what I'm trying to say is this: if I want to go out and eat a pizza, I'm going to go out and eat a pizza, and ain't nobody going to tell me that I can't do it, because that's what I want to do. It was my decision, and I'm a grown-up. So I get a little, that's my pet peeve, the judgment, the hate, the naysayers, the negative people that just because they got nothing better to do, they want to just, crap all over you because something happened to them. It happens all the time, every day, multiple times a day. And it's just really, really sad to me. It's really unfortunate that because you don't think something's okay, like that means that it's not okay for anybody. That's just not so. We have to use our discernment. We've got to, listen to our gut, and gotta have good boundaries, but you gotta have good balance. And all I try to do here on this channel is just be supportive. I try to be inspirational. I try to be me. I try to be as authentic as I can and as genuine as I can, and to share as much as I feel that I need to, because I don't want anyone to go through what I went through. And if I can help that, then I feel like I did something really great, But yeah, there's so much negativity out there, and it's so hard to turn it off. It's so hard to stay above that. And that, I think, is something else that Spirit has taught me. And I kind of was late to the game on that moment too. I did a journal entry saying that for the last 11 years, my goal has been to get back to that level of contentment in my life that I once had, when it wasn't like everything had to be a chaotic mess in order for me to function. And as I was talking and as I was relaying what I had written in my journal, I just started to cry, and I was like, oh my God, I've already got there, and I didn't even realize it. But that's how caught up I was in my anxiety and my not listening to my reactions, you know what I mean? Like not paying attention to what my body and what my mind were and my heart were doing, because I was so used to fighting every day just to stay upright and to be able to hold a conversation with a person. I didn't even realize that I wasn't doing that anymore. You know, I was so busy trying to find the prize in the Cracker Jack box that I didn't realize that I ate all the popcorn. Does that make sense to you guys, what I'm saying? Sorry, I feel like I'm going off on some kind of tangent. Let me go back here. All right, so Bernie says, yes, I acknowledge the one time that the person approached. They wanted my daughter, and I didn't tell her. The smoke was so bad. I was crying. Once I called her down, he stopped. She can see and hear. I read that one already. Akosha says, wouldn't you also say you need to remain in alignment and fully present? Obviously, the more aligned you are and the more present you are, I would think that the more your connection is strengthened, or the more that your gift is in tune. But I was more referring to setting up parameters to when you're okay to receive, you know, and when you're close for, like, so when you're, you know, my husband jokes he's going to get me a sign for the office that says on air, so like he knows when it's okay to come back here and when it's okay not, or when he shouldn't. That, you know, so when you're on and when you're off is kind of what I meant. But yes, obviously being aligned and present is good. But see, and I'm not trying to say that I'm better or different than anyone else. When I won't come on here when I'm dead tired. I won't, you know, I won't read for people. I won't offer to toss any cards for you if I feel like I can't give you 100%. I'd rather cancel my show than sit here and give you, you know, 75 or 50%, because I will literally beat myself up for days because of it. Karen says, I think I will always be loyal to YouTube because I found the best people in this community during the pandemic. Can't move on to TikTok. I just love this community too much, and it's a loyalty. And I love that you do that. And I will say that, you know, I do have a pretty loyal following, and I mean, I'm so blessed. Shelby says, I take a lot of notes. It's usually a bunch of scribbles, but it all has meaning. I try to remember, but my mind goes so fast that I can't remember. I have to go back and refresh my memory with notes. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that's actually kind of cool. Yeah, and you could be doing like a form of automatic writing, Shelby Lisa, and not really even sort of be aware that that's what you're doing. MK Karen says, we lost a home many years ago, and it surprised me that my biggest feeling was I never wanted anyone to go through this pain like we had experienced. I never would have thought I would have felt that. Yeah. Do you do it, Shelby Lisa, do you do it when you meditate, when you do that scribbling? Because that's, or yeah, when you meditate. Ancorsia says, that is the kind of behavior with which I tried to contend for 9 months until my love for myself was greater than a desire to help my niece. Yeah, and listen, and sometimes, you know, telling, you know, here's the thing about I mean, this is just my opinion, okay? Putting boundaries up, having parameters, having rules, having ethics, regulations, whatever word you want to put on them, they're basically all designed for the same thing. It's to protect you. It's not about keeping out negative or keeping others away, right? It's not necessarily, to protect you from something. It's to keep you safe. Yes? It's to keep you safe. Oh, thank you, Bernie girl. You're very kind. Blessings to you, my friend. I don't know that I mean, when I sit down, I don't show up thinking that I am perfect. So I don't know that I aim to be perfect, if I'm understanding what you're saying. I do know that when I sit down here to do this, that I try to be authentic, that I try to be open and honest, and is available to share whatever I can about myself, if it's important or pertinent to the conversation. I know that it's important to me to be available, and I know that when I sit down here, I'm fully committed to what I'm doing, right? I want to be in the best frame of mind, the best frame of reference. And before I go live, I come back here and I sit here in my own little space, my own little thing, and I do what I need to do to get ready. And when I turn the camera on, I just sort of, obviously I've done, something prior, like a ritual or a prayer or whatever, and I sort of put it in Spirit's hands. And I sort of feel like I'm just working the buttons. I'm like the assistant, if that makes sense, right? It's funny that you guys, like, not funny, haha, that you guys are talking about that. My when my mom passed away, we were given like a timeline to get her belongings out of the house. And I think because of that, because of the way that it was done, I ran in there and like grabbed everything I could think of. It's been 12 years, you guys, and I still have a couple of pieces of my mom's clothing. They don't fit me. I've never worn them, never going to wear them. I just wanted all of her stuff to, like, around me, near me. When it's in a sort of situation like you guys are talking about, like the hurricane, or it's a fire, or it's like circumstances out of your control, I think your need to hold on to something is even heightened more so than it normally would be. You know what I mean? After a loss. But as time goes by, and as I have healed, I recognize that that's not where, like, the memory isn't in that. The memory's in here and in here. But in the moment, I couldn't have done that, because in the moment I was reacting to how I felt, right? Oh, MK Karen, thank you. You guys are all so kind. Thank you so very much. Oh, it happens randomly. Interesting. Hi, Bella. Interesting. That's very, very interesting. I'm having another cigarette, sorry. Oh, I'm like so far behind. Good grief. I love the fact that, I mean, listen, the greatest gift, the greatest blessing that I can receive is when someone pops into this chat, someone that I feel like I know from other chats or from coming into my chat, right? From doing readings with you, or just, interacting in this way, in a conversational way. And you're telling me that, life is fantastic for you and that you feel totally different than you did before, in a good way. I mean, I can just float around on that stuff, I'm so happy for you. I like, truly. I could be moved to tears right now. That's how happy I am for you. I have the distinct honor and the distinct privilege with this channel and doing what we do here to be a witness to people healing, to people growing, to people opening up. It is breathtaking to be a part of someone else's journey. I don't take that for granted at all. And I'm so grateful that you shared it. Seriously, very grateful. Because in the moments when I am tired, or in the moments when, I lose a bunch of subscribers, or I'm just not having a great day, it's comments like yours, A Cloister, and like what Bernie Girl just did, and what Tiffany shared, what MK Karen said, and what Shelby Lisa shared, collectively, those are the things that keep me going. That's what keeps me coming back. Because it's not always easy sitting on this side of the camera, just saying. In all honesty, it means a great deal to me that you trust me and trust this space to want to sit here and share those things with me. And I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I'm ever so happy for you. Truly, truly happy for you. Oh, yeah, I miss my dad. The parents are hard. There's a family dynamic sort of shift that happens that I don't think that anyone talks about. Or maybe you're not maybe people don't talk about it because they're not aware of it. When one parent goes, you feel it, and when both the parents are gone, it's like where do I go now? Where do I fit in? It's a very odd dynamic shift within the family, in my experience. It's very, very hard to navigate. Because it's, I don't know, it's like out of the order. I mean, and I'm assuming, and that sounds stupid to say that I'm assuming, but like losing a child would be the same thing, because it's like the order of things is thrown out of whack or out of sequence somehow. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't somehow feel, I don't know, doesn't feel natural. And because your parents are older than you, it would feel more natural because of the order. But all of a sudden you don't know where you fall now in the order, if that makes sense. What I'm trying to say. At least that was our experience. Oh, Bella, bless you. I still have my son and my dad's ashes. Of the few things that I would not let go in the estate sale are a few of my mom's things and my dad's. Yeah. I mean, we just, because it's everything, And the other thing is too is that why does it? If you want to hold on to your mom's clothes, hold on to your mom's clothes. If I want to hold on to my mom's clothes, I'm going to. It's like what we were talking about before. If it gives you joy, if it brings you comfort, if it, sets off a whole series of beautiful, cherished memories, how's that bad? How's that a bad thing for you? If it helps you heal, if it helps you feel closer, if, you smell it, and all of a sudden you're transported to some other beautiful memory, beautiful place, beautiful time. Why is that bad? See, that's when I think we're listening to the naysayers and the haters, right? Oh, hi, Janet. How you doing, love? Oh, thank you, Bella. You're very kind, my friend. Blessings to you for saying so. Oh no, I don't doubt myself, Shelby. I mean, I don't know that I suppose it would appear that I doubted myself in the beginning, but I just wasn't aware. Like I had no idea that that's what was happening. It was like I was late to the game, right? But now I don't doubt it at all. No, and I love that. I love that equestrian. Leave us on a high note. Oh, and Bims is back. Oh, blessing, Bims. That's very kind of you to say. MK Karen says, it isn't easy, Kelly, but I feel like we are sitting in your living room sharing our biggest woes. One of the things I love the most about this space that we've created here is when this happens. I was supposed to be gone an hour and a half ago, and I'm here. And I love this. I love that we're just chatting. It's like Friday night with my girlfriends, and I'm okay with it. We're sharing, we're talking. Someone's gonna hear something. Someone's gonna watch this back later, and maybe something that one of us said is gonna resonate with them, and it's gonna help them in some way, and make them feel like they are not weird or alone or abnormal because they feel something similar as to something that we were talking about. You know what I mean? Like all kinds of good things can come from this, and I cannot say it enough. Honestly, sitting here being a part of people sharing and supporting each other and inspiring each other and loving each other, it is such a blessing. It's such a gift. It makes me feel like I'm alive. You know what I mean? And I'm so grateful to be able to sit here and be a part of it. Just so grateful. Oh, yeah, Brittany. I mean, my sister and I were just having that conversation like the other day, saying that same thing. MK Karen said, I felt like when my dad passed, part of my mother died. Now I get it. If my husband passed, my heart would break too. Yeah. That's another thing, and we know this, like, we logically and rationally we know that, and this is a part of a conversation my sister and I had. So my sister's next door neighbor, one of like the wife lost a parent and the husband lost a parent, and the wife said to my sister in passing one day, I just want to give you a hug. And my sister was like, okay. And she said, because I feel like when your mom passed that I didn't really understand. I wasn't really supportive enough for you. Because how do you understand that unless it's happened to you? Do you know what I mean? Because it feels so different. It just feels different. Shelby Lisa says, my son who is 16 asked me, why am I here? How do I answer that? That's an interesting question. Let me ponder that for a moment. My first instinct is like, and I'm not asking you to share this, but like, in what context is it being asked? Is it someone who is in pain or in discomfort, or someone who is struggling, with anxiety or depression, that is saying, like, why am I in this particular spot in my life? Why am I in this particular like, why am I on this path? Why am I on this journey? Or is it just a conversational thing that has just sort of popped up, and it seems way bigger than it was intended to feel? But my gut instinct is to say, why do you think you're here? It seems to me that when someone asks a question like that there are many more questions that they either really want to have answered, or maybe they're not even aware that they have. But the most important part of that question is the fact that he asked you that. Do you understand what I mean? That you felt safe enough and confident enough that you weren't going to judge or laugh or criticize or slough him off. He asked you because he legitimately wants you to communicate and conversate with him. And it sounds like he wants to tell you something. It sounds like he wants to reveal something to you, or that he is trying to discover something within himself, or maybe even in his environment. I would start the conversation by asking, like, not in a therapist kind of way, how do you feel about that while I take notes, but why do you think that you're here? And then allow that answer then to help you navigate the conversation. That's what I would suggest, if that helps. A Coaster says, that is one reason I felt so invested in my niece. Her mother was my only sister and 6.5 years older, so my niece is the only DNA family I have left. Now that I'm back in Texas, I am with real family. Yeah, you had to make some hard choices and hard decisions where that is concerned, and I can't imagine how difficult that that was or is. But there are toxic people, and those toxic relationships, or the effect of having a toxic person in your life, like, pardon my expression, but that shit's real, and it can do a number on you if you allow it to. It's not easy to stand in your power if you're feeling that you're doing something wrong, or you're not necessarily, how do I say this, that you're not necessarily doing it without judgment. You know what I mean? Because many people consider, when you say, I want, we need to stand in our truth, or we need to stand in our power, many people consider that, when you take that position, that's selfish. That you only care about yourself, you don't care about other people. I don't happen to be one of those people. I don't believe that at all. I believe that if I stand in my truth and I stand in my power, that makes me more able to be supportive of my friends and my family, and the collective society, right? MK Karen says, Shelby Lisa, you are here to support his life as long as you can. He was a gift, and therefore you handle him with the utmost love and care. Those are my thoughts. Shelby Lisa says, as a 16-year-old, he doesn't think his life is going to be good because of the current politics in the United States. Oh, that's terrible. Janet C says, I haven't been in the chats for a while. Is everything okay? Everything is great. We just, I took 2 weeks off, my birthday, and then I came back, and I just did a show with Chrissy, and I was finishing up, and I'm still sitting here because we're having a great chat. Everything's great. How about you? How are you doing? MK Karen says, Shelby Lisa, it is tough in terms of politics, but your son is part of our future, our hope and change. Well said, MK Karen. Well said. Shelby Lisa says, not depressed, he's worried about the future of his generation. Here's the thing about that. Like, that's a very real thing, right? It's a very real thing. And people probably from the generation, prior, or even 2 generations prior, most certainly, and beyond, we look at children or younger people and think, well, you don't have any responsibility. What possibly could you be worried about? Like, you have no issues. I got real problems. You want to hear about my problem? You know what I mean? We have no idea what it's like to be a young person in this world today, with all this technology and all this peer pressure. And I dare say that I would have caved. I would have caved. Like, I wouldn't have been able to survive it. Do you know what I mean? I look at my nieces with such amazement, because I don't know how they navigated it so well. It's got to be incredibly, incredibly difficult. And we have no idea, because we didn't grow up that way. But the ticket, though, if we have the understanding that we are the future, that we, are sort of like, I've got the baton and now it's my turn to run with it, that needs to be inspired, that needs to be motivated, that needs to be nurtured, and hope has to be installed, and so like compassion and belief, you know what I mean? Like you can do anything that you set your mind to. This may be the state of the situation right now, but it's not going to stay that way. History will tell us that there are ebbs and flows, ups and downs, right? That things are going to change because things are always changing. Things are always evolving. So in other words, what I'm trying to say is to use the sort of, that fire in your belly or your passion to want to make change, like use that to navigate and to propel you forward, right? If he wants to be part of the future of the generation and helping us get out of the spot that we're in, we have to find the thing that we think that we could excel at, or the thing that we're passionate about, or hopefully it's the same thing, and hit the ground running with it, right? Bim says, I would probably tell my kids when they were young is that you came here to show me what true love is all about. That's beautiful, Bim. That's beautiful. I love it. MK Karen says, I haven't been here for a while either, but Kelly is just the same, bringing us all together in heart. It's been a great chat. Oh, blessings, MK Karen. You're so sweet. Thank you, my friend. Shelby Lisa says, my son is trying to find a solution to the problems in the future. And I think that that's awesome. It must be so much pressure, I would think, as a young person today. They must feel so much pressure because they're expected to have it all figured out, right? Even more so than we did when we were their age. A question says, I couldn't help but laugh at first. Since I've never had children, that's for him to find out, but with lots of unconditional love surrounding him. Yep. MK Karen says, Kelly, you're right on track. He's worried about our future in terms of politics. Yeah. Oh, listen. I mean, I Shelby Lisa, I think more people need to be concerned about that whole thing in terms of like awareness, right? Yeah, it is an oxymoron. Politicians and thinks about the future. No, but I mean, like you take someone like Brian Tyler Cohen, right? Someone who is passionate about politics, someone who is of that sort of younger generation, someone who has a voice and using it to help and to strengthen everybody's sort of foundation with the way that he presents himself and his sort of don't take prisoners attitude in terms of what he's doing with the political sort of reporting that he does, right? I mean, you look at the young guys of the Midas Touch, or the people that do the Young Turks. And I'm not just specifically talking about these news organizations, but these are literally people that are popping into my mind when I think about, young people that are making a complete difference in the world, especially like in the news or the political sort of avenue, right? I think it's amazing. I wouldn't have the gumption when I was that age to do something or even to dream that big. I'm so inspired by that, right? But I understand why she was that way, and her family enables what I know as dry drunk syndrome. In fact, they blame me because I withdrew when they started not speaking to me. Well, I mean, that's the thing, right? It's very, there's a word. and I can't for the life of me think about it, or think of the word, sorry. But it is, it reminds me of, well, I came from an abused home, so I'm going to be an abuser, and my kids are going to be abusive, and so I'm not going to try to understand it. I'm not going to try to um, gather any facts or any knowledge to assist myself so that I can at least recognize the signs. It's just like it's almost like I have carte blanche to just do whatever I want, because I don't have to have ownership or take responsibility for my own self, right? Actually, no, I'm a Leo. I'm a Leo sun, a Leo rising, and an Aquarius moon, which is just so interesting to me because they're opposite. Which explains a lot about me, really. Oh, did he, Janet? Oh, I'm sorry. That must be, I can't imagine how it's such, because that's such a formidable age, like your teenage years are such, it's your foundational years when you're really trying to figure out who you are. It must be so difficult to navigate that. I mean, I don't know that there's a great age, obviously, but that would be really hard to navigate. You're so cute. Your son is an oldest. Listen, I made that mistake. Can we talk, friends? So my ex-husband was his sun sign was a Cancer, and my sister is a Cancer. And I thought, well, I love my sister. My sister is the greatest person I know, so this should be a slam dunk. Well, we all know how that turned out, right? Yep. Hi, Jen. It was not at all the way that I thought it was going to be. My daughter was a nightmare teenager. My son an angel. They grew up with the same parents in the same house. People should not judge. You know what's interesting about that statement, Shelby Lisa? So my sister and I went to, I think I've told this story on the channel before. We went to a medium on the second anniversary of my mom's passing, because we thought it would be, neat or awesome, whatever, to get a message from my mom, hopefully. And so we decided, beforehand that my sister would go in first and then I would go in second, or that somebody's home, right? So my sister goes in and then I go in. And the lady said to me, she goes, "You said you were sisters, right?" And I'm like, in my mind, I'm not admitting this, but in my mind, I'm like, I know we don't look anything alike. We don't even look like we come from the same family. I get it all the time. Anyway, so I'm like, yeah, it's just like, because your energy is so different. It's like you grew up in different households. You know what she said to me? She said, it's like you both think that you were the black sheep of the family. And if I allow myself to think about that right in this moment, still today, all of those years later, I still am like, how interesting is that we both feel like we weren't good enough? It's really sad when you think about it, right? So I agree completely. People should not judge. I mean, we all do it. We've all done it. I probably do it more than I should, but definitely something that as a collective we need to work on, is our compassion, I feel. Each child comes out with their own souls. I believe we parent each of our children according to their individual needs. We don't parent the same in all circumstances. I'm only laughing because I remember my mom saying to us when she was in the hospital, calling me daughter number 1 and my sister daughter number 2, holding our hands. She's like, come here, daughter number 1, you stand over here. Daughter number 2, you stand over there. So we were standing on each side of her bed, and she was holding our hands, and she's like, now listen, Mommy has a plan. We're like, okay, Mommy, what's the plan? And she wanted us to hold to try to get a meeting with her doctor together so that she could go home, because her husband didn't want her to come home to die. And yeah, daughter number 1 and daughter number 2. Because her famous thing to say was, I love you both equally, but for different reasons. It was a theme in my house that was ever present, that we were the same. You know what I mean? We were treated equally, always. Always, always, always. Nobody was given more than the other. No one was, given more time than the other. And the other thing that my mom and my dad did that I so appreciate is that they both instilled in us that sisterly love, that sisterly bond, that no matter what happens, it's her and I. We are forever connected. We are we're tight. We're together. We're a unit. And I'm so grateful, in hindsight, that my sister and I were raised with that understanding that it's her and I, like, we're a team. And I can tell you, my sister and I are like oil and water. Like, we are so opposite of each other. We are so different. So different. And I tell you, whenever we have had to do something, big, good, bad, small, ugly, different, whatever, man, we are an awesome duo. We are an awesome duo. And I think it's because our parents instilled in us that we were one together. Do you know what I mean? That was a cold chill, not a spiritual chill. That's a sweet thing to say, Shelby Lisa. And I love what you said, MK Karen. Yeah. I remember my mom used to say to me, why do you put me on a pedestal all the time? And I'm like, because you're my mom. I remember, like, seriously making that face, going like, that's a weird question. Like, because you're my mom. My mama was something else. She was a feisty, classy woman, and I so admired her. I mean, she had tenacity, you know what I mean? She had spunk, and I so admire that. It's like I want to be just like her when I grow up. You know what I mean? Like, she was just that person. And Not to say that anyone else's mom isn't awesome or didn't have that quality, but as a little kid growing up, I remember watching her, and it was like, you're watching the Queen or something. That the kind of vibe that she gave off. She was so, I don't know what the word is that I'm even trying to say, like just so in it to win it. She was just so put together, so sure of herself, and I always felt like I wasn't, and so maybe that's why it stood out. Both of my parents always felt to me like they were so, put together. And things my mom would always say is like, never let him see you sweat. And I will say that there was a long period of time where I think that I almost resented that a little bit, because I felt like I wasn't able to express myself if I was upset or if I was sad or even if I was angry. I wasn't allowed to react to a situation. I had to sort of stand there like a little soldier. And I resented that for a long time. I thought that because that was how we were raised, that I wasn't able to like emotionally sort of deal with whatever was going on with me. I would just keep pushing my feelings around and down and aside and behind me and all that kind of stuff. I didn't know how to, like sort of work them out, shall we call it. Ooh, sorry. Yep. I just did a whole, I said this before, I just did a whole journal entry thing on my dad that I'm going to post up when I'm done here. It was one of those messages that were just amazing. Do you know what I mean? It was just amazing. MK Karen, you're so cute. Oh my God, I know who you are. No, actually, I don't know them, Aquester. And thank you for saying that. Listen, can I just tell you guys? And I don't want this conversation to take a turn and me go like super negative. But since we're Sharon and Karen over here, I have never not tried to be, open or honest or authentic. I am not a perfect person by any stretch of the imagination. I got all kinds of flaws, and gosh knows I make mistakes way more than I even like to admit. I am far from even remotely, just okay some days. But man, oh man, oh man, I believe that because I present myself in the way that I do, that people feel that they can say whatever the heck they want to me. I have had more than my fair share of comments delivered to me, whether it be via email or in the chat or whatever, telling me that I smoke too much, that I wear too much makeup, I work too many, I do too many lives. I do this, I don't do that, blah, 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 blah. I shouldn't say that I have anxiety. Just like a whole host of things. I shouldn't smoke on my channel, right? If I didn't say that already. So it's not because I'm ashamed of it, and it's not because I, don't, it just, I say it because I don't want anyone to feel some sort of way, but I'm never going to stop being who I am. So, when my mother died, I actually had people say to me, "Didn't your mother have lung cancer and you smoke?" Well, geez, like, don't hold back. Tell me how you really feel. So my point in saying that is that, I just try to do what I try to do my best. And if people don't like it, they don't have to be here. They don't have to watch. That's it. That's all, really. Right. Pam says, I have lost so many family members, including losing my mom at an early age. I feel bad not having known my mother as much as I should have. Aw, Bims. After our mom passed away, a friend of my niece's, her mom passed away. She was just like, I don't know, she was like 40, 38, 40, 42, somewhere in that, like very, very young. Was, poor little girl, like, 10, 11 years old, brothers and sisters. And there I was having panic attacks at 45 because my mom died. I felt like such an ass. Like I did. I felt like an ass. Like I'm an adult, supposed to have all the answers. I'm supposed to know what to do. I'm supposed to know how to deal with this. This poor little girl suddenly had the weight of the world thrust upon her, right? Because she was the oldest at the ripe age of 10. It wasn't until many years later that I understood or started to grasp the understanding that, age, circumstances, environment, situations, none of those details really even matter. Because your pain is your pain. Your individual pain is your individual pain. And it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what the reason is. It doesn't matter, how long or where you came from or how much money you have. Pain is pain. And it's real and it's hard and it's challenging. And if you don't know how to process it, if you're not aware that you even need to process it, it can really, really mess you up. It can really mess you up. It can really, really mess you up. A Oyster says, so Kelly, sounds as if we need to help you set your boundaries against haters. Listen, I set my boundaries, and I appreciate you saying that. Thank you. I do. I set my boundaries every day before I go live, every day before I turn this camera on, I do my thing and I say what I say. I keep showing up. I am proud of myself. I don't back down. I don't hide away. I'm not going to say it doesn't hurt, because of course it does. I'm a human being and I have thoughts and feelings like everybody else. But, and I've said this before on my channel, nobody is going to tell me when to leave. No one is going to tell me when to stop. No one is going to tell me that I don't belong. I am here and you're pretty much stuck with me. So if you don't like it, don't watch. That's kind of my attitude. Because I know what I'm doing is what I need to do. Right? So I in the beginning, when I was getting all the hate, I was like, whoa, what is this all about? It's part and parcel of having a channel, and a lot of people may not get that or think about that part of it, but it is. It's part and parcel. I open myself up and I stick myself on this screen, and I invite you all into my world or my life or my person or whatever you want to call it. When you open yourself up like that, you're bound to get people, whether they are coming from a good place or a not so good place. You're going to get people that think that they are investing in you, and that that therefore they have a say in what you do or what you sort of put out there, right? There's some people that'll say like, well, you need to be more consistent, and other people will say, well, you don't need to be consistent, and other people are like, I mean, I've had it all. I have too many guests on my channel. I don't do enough lives by myself, and my readings are too long. My readings are too short. Whatever it is, and it just all boils down to, everybody has an opinion. Everybody's got a thought process. And everybody is entitled to those things. But when they start sort of free throwing them around in a way that is detrimental to someone else, that's when I just sort of like, nope. I literally had this experience the other day. Like literally the other day, where I said to the person, I don't appreciate, what happened. I don't appreciate, what was said. And I hope that you understand and and that you respect me, but I have to put some boundaries up and take a step back. That's all. Like I said before, right? Boundaries are about protecting you. It's not about trying to, keep someone else out. It's about protecting you. That's how I look at boundaries anyway. And so there you go. Anyway, so getting back to our comments. MK Karen says, are you kidding me? Doesn't cats wellness trail? Haters will be haters no matter what. They absolutely will. Some people, I mean, listen, and I know that not everybody means it to come across, critical or judgmental or whatever. I mean, gosh knows I've done it. But, I just sort of sit here and I say to them, like, I'm legitimately being honest. Anyone who thinks that this is easy to do this, I mean, I'm not even talking about the tarot part. I'm just talking about just turning that camera on and inviting people into your life and putting yourself on blast to billions of people. Yeah, no, it's not. It's not. Aquasher says, I know that you have a gift to share, confident that Spirit is happy to be using you. Thank you, my friend. Blessings. No, no. Do you know that the first word usually said as we as humans cross over is mom? Really? No, I did not know that. That's interesting. You can't please everyone all the time. You have to do what makes you happy. Absolutely. I mean, for me, that was part of my problem, is that I didn't know what made me happy. That was actually like happy was actually a trigger word for me for many, many years. The first time that I ever spoke to a therapist, when I was first diagnosed, they said to me, "What makes Kelly happy?" I couldn't think of anything, and then I thought of something, and when I said it, I was like, "No, it has to be an individual thing." I went, "Oh, okay." Said it, no, it has to be an individual thing, because everything I was saying was something that I did with my mom. I'm telling you, and this is not me making this up. I'm not exaggerating. Probably 2 years, I was on a mission to try everything I could, revisit things that I'd already done to find my happy. As there I was, having 5 or 6 panic attacks a day. My mother just died. I felt like I was losing control of my body, my mind, my emotions. Everything that I'd worked so hard for was falling apart, and there was not a damn thing I could do about it. It was just literally unraveling. And then someone says to you, you know, what makes you happy? And you can't figure it out. You're told that you're wrong. I mean, how depressing is that? I mean, think about that for a second. If you couldn't figure out what made you happy, what brought you joy, what put a smile on your face, imagine when you were already depressed. Literally, it became like a trigger word for me for a while. Yep, I believe that 100%, Bims, and I mean it, and I'm not like going around, I'm not saying that to be boastful, but I've achieved what some people haven't, and I'm sure that it bothers some people. And then like I don't know. I just like I don't think that, so I don't know. You know what I mean? So I just have decided that I'm gonna do my thing, and I'm gonna keep doing my thing the way that I do it, and I will work with people that I enjoy working with, and read with the people that I either are inspired by or have always wanted to. Like we have almost like a bucket list of people that you want to read with. You know, I just want to keep showing up and do this. I mean, I understand being envious. I understand jealousy to a certain degree. But when it's flipped on its side or flipped on its head, and you become like mean spirited about it, that's when I sort of don't get it. Like if I wanted something and I seen someone else that achieved it, got it, figured it out, whatever, I would use that to inspire me or to motivate me, to propel me get after it. You know what I mean? Like I would use that, like the kick in the butt that my mother used to say that we needed to get us, you know, to do whatever it was that we needed to do. If that makes sense. You know, it's like ego. Like I happen to think that, you know, ego is a word that's like thrown around in the spiritual community like it's a swear word. And I happen to think that, you know, we need our ego. Hello. Ego helps us to navigate situations, and it helps us to want to do well and you know, move forward. It is when ego takes on the negative connotation that I start to compare myself to others, that I start to, you know, seek out, you know, judgment and criticisms and start critiquing things. That's when ego becomes an issue, like my opinion only, of course. Because you've formed some sort of a bias. Do you know what I mean? You know, like I mean, maybe it's because I was raised, you know, like in a competitive sport for my whole entire childhood. Like a little bit of competitiveness helps to sort of, you know, it helps you to strive for your goals. It helps you to approach things from a respect of, you know, I want this, and I know the steps that I need to take that are gonna, you know, get me there. And it requires dedication and effort and, you know, hard work. You know what I mean? Like all that kind of stuff. I don't look at it like I want what they have and I should get it. Gosh darn it! Like I deserve it. I sort of look at it like, ooh, that's really cool. I would love one of those too. Well, I guess I better get to work then. Do you know what I mean? I kind of look at it like that. So I mean, I understand it, but I don't really like. I don't resonate with it, if that makes sense. But I've been jealous of people before. Of course, I have. You don't know this story, MK Karen? Good grief. Where you been, girlfriend? No, I'm kidding. I was a baton twirler from the age of 4 until I was like 20, almost 22, 21 in a bit. And so, like my whole life, my whole childhood was competition in a sportsmanship sort of way, if that makes sense, right? Working together as a group of people, that if one person got sick, we didn't get to you know, go to competition, even though we worked all year for it. And not hating on the person because, you know, they messed us up or whatever. You know, going out onto the floor of competition after working for a whole year and someone just dropped the ball and it all went, you know, to pieces, and not walking off that floor and you know, giving that person the side eye or whatever. You know, we came as a unit, we leave as a unit. We're one on that group. It's the same as what I was saying about my sister, you know, prior. We're a team. We're all like the same arms of the same, or we're all arms of the same machine. There is, you know, there's no leader, there's no followers. They're like, we're all equals, we're all the same, but we work individually together for the same common goal, and we had to approach it like that. And so I guess because I did that for my entire childhood, that's just like sort of built in me. Like there is no leader, there is no follower, there's just a team of people. Some people are have a strength in this department, and some people have a strength in that department, and we take all those strengths and we gather those together and we use those collectively to pursue whatever it is that we're trying to pursue. Nobody's better than anybody else. You will never work for a corporation again. Yeah, corporations can be hard on people. I've worked for worldwide corporations, and I've also worked for mom and pop shops, and in my opinion, they're equally detrimental to your well-being. I had good experiences in both, and I had not so great experiences in both. I just described Christ consciousness. Oh, look at me. I barely know what my name is right now. Oh. That's fantastic that you started your own business. Good for you. I always thought I made a good boss. I've never been a boss. I don't know. I know what you were talking about. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding around. What do you guys think of my new office? I totally screwed up. So I went through all of this work. My poor husband, right? He's back here. He's doing his thing. He's painting, and we're doing all of this stuff. And we put up this beautiful plate rail with this gorgeous wallpaper. And then I turn the camera on, and you can't even flip and see it. How disappointing is that? I can show you guys the wallpaper, though. Do you want to see the wallpaper? You want to see the wallpaper, don't you? I know you want to see the wallpaper. Oh my God, I have to stand up and get some circulation back in my legs. Good grief. Okay, here's the wallpaper. Ready? The wallpaper. Yeah. And the other thing is, I have this beautiful antique mirror that, do y'all know what, now, I mean, hello, it's like, that's hilarious. Sorry, I have to put that back down now. Whoops, shoot. Oh, technical issues, friends, technical issues. Sorry. Avert your gaze. Oh, crap. That's still too high. Oh, now my camera's going to go all wonky on me. You can see it. It's going funny because I moved my camera. So we're going to have to end this, or the camera's going to go all funny on me and you guys won't see me. But real quick, I bought this antique mirror that is sort of, are you guys familiar with like an old-fashioned or a vintage, whatever you want to call it, mantelpiece? So it's like the fireplace box, and then there's like a mirror. It's all like one unit. Well, this was unattached from the mantle. So I have this big, huge antique mirror, and I bought it when I moved here, and I never did anything with it. And I've always wanted to have it in this room. And so I finally, like, that was the whole point of all of this. And we pushed it up so far that the mirror doesn't fit. So anyway, So we may be removing the trim so we can move it down to be able to get the mirror on the wall. And also so that you guys don't think I live in a beige box with no color. That's peel and stick wallpaper. It's like contact paper, actually. Got it off of Amazon. It's vintagey, and I love vintage. It's hold on. Here's a little piece of it. The great way is there's no like right or wrong way to put this up, right? So it's just got lovely colors in it, right? All my favorites: blues, reds, pinks, yellows, greens, right? It's just very happy and love it. Love it. Oh, thank you, Tosh. You're very kind. I'm digging it. I'm digging the wallpaper. So then when we moved here, because you guys know this house was a total fixer-upper, and actually, you guys want to see some pictures? I don't know if I can do this or not. Let me know if you want to see some pictures of the house. How am I going to do this? Bear with me, friends. Bear with me. Bear with me. Well, hello. How are you, you little munchkin? Hi, honey. Hi. 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 Oh my God. Hi. Hi. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Come here. Come and say hi to me. Come say hi to the people. They want to say hi to you because they think you're so gorgeous and lovely and beautiful. Oh my goodness. Say hello, everybody. Hello. Yes. Hi. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for the kisses. What are you doing? What are you doing? You going to bed with Daddy? Say hello. Hello, my name is Rosie. Yep. Come a kiss. Hello? Come a kiss. Where's my kisses? She's like, I'm a star. Look at me. I'm on the TV. I'm on the TV screen. Can I have a kiss? Hello? Kiss your mother. All right. Off you go, sweetheart. Go see Daddy. Yes, go see Daddy. You're going to go see Daddy? Where's Daddy? Go see Daddy. Where is he? Go get him. He's not under the bed. Come on, let's go. Night, night, Rosie. Night, honey. I love you. So cute. All right, here we go. Oh, hi, Julie. How you doing? Okay. Look at us. It's like a marathon. Woohoo. Okay, so I'm going to try and share. I can't speak. Share my screen with you guys. All right, so this picture right here, friends, used to be the living room. That is the living room. Now, hold on a second here. There. That used to be our living room when we moved in. Isn't that fantastic? Yes? And here we go. I don't know. Okay, so here is some like we're taking out all the insulation and we're removing the drywall and putting down new flooring. Now, see this wood up here? All around the room were these boards. All around the room. In some bizarre, weird, almost like crown molding somebody or others, all around. And what I did was I took them all down and we built this false wall and stacked them up, and you'll see it later on. All those boards, see there's a board right here? They were all around the whole perimeter of this room. Oh, I should tell you that this right here was a closet, and we closed it up. And this right here was open into the into this room, the kitchen. And over here was blank because it was a bathroom on the other side, and we took the bathroom out and added a closet. And then we went around the room and we added this lovely detail here, this wainscoting, whatever. And there you see it coming together. There's that wall done. There's that wall that you were literally just looking at where all the stuffing was out of the window. That's that wall right there. And there's the wall where where the fake wall was built with all the boards. You guys can see down the hall now. There we are, home sweet home. All right, now, oh, there's my baby girl, Virginia. She's no longer with us. Okay, so that was that. So then let's go to, okay, so this was the front of our house when we bought it. All right. Oops, sorry, wrong way. That was the house when we bought it. And that's what we did to it. So new deck, new garden, new grass, new garden, new planter, trim around the windows, painted the whole entire house. All right, let me go to another picture. Okay, so here is, oh my goodness. Okay, this here is the original bathroom in the house. Disgusting. Okay. And here we are ripping it all out. Here it is all ripped out. And here we are, our first tiling job, or no, our second tiling job. We're making this like a walk-in shower or a stand-up shower, whatever you want to call it. And there it is in all of its finished glory. Lovely, lovely. That is that bathroom right now. Whoops, sorry, with this, oh crap. With, you know, the pedestal sink and lovely mirror. And the reason that this is open is because I wanted to put glass in there, which I've never gotten around to, but there you have it. Okay, these are the stairs going upstairs. They're horrible. As you can see, there they are finished. Lovely, nice, beautiful. Now I'm checking to see your comments every once in a while because I'm on the Facebook page. Okay, and then we go to, oh my god, this was a big job, you guys. Okay, so here we are. So this is outside in the backyard. So they left us a hot tub that my husband cut. Believe me, this was a job that he really enjoyed because he got to use his Sawzall and cut it up into pieces like you slice a cake. And there he is tearing out the old rotten deck because it literally was rotten and sinking and gross and nasty and nails popping up and all that stuff. We poured in a bunch of gravel and a bunch of sand. And then we laid more gravel and then we laid patio stones. And then we built this little garden here with the water fountain and the bird, because we're on a big, huge hill, right? So we cut all this back. This is where the hot tub used to sit, on this patio here, right? And this little wall fell over this winter. There's the cats. Hold on one sec. Do I have another picture of that? Of course, nothing's in sequence. Why would they be in sequence? That would be way too convenient. No, I guess I don't have a picture of that. Oh, yes, I do. Here we go. All right, so building of the garden. There's the patio that we put down, in addition to the patio that's all across the front of the house, or the back of the house, I mean, right? There's the other side you can see going up the hill. So all we really have, even though we have a huge backyard, is like this little bit right here. There it is at night. And what else do we have to show you? Oh, look at these guys. So cute. That's Austin. And that's Charlotte. I dug all this out, by the way. This is me. So I'm crazy like that. Crazy. Okay. Here's my mommy. It's my mom. Another picture of my mama. There's Christmas. Oh, that's the lake near the house. Oh, I didn't show you guys this picture. Okay, so this used to be the kitchen of the house, right? And so then we changed it into a bathroom. So there's the tub is being installed. So this is an old dresser that I found somewhere, and I refinished it and put a new top on it, and added a pedestal, or like a, what do you call it, sink. And there's the new vanity. There is the bathtub and all of its tile, and you get the idea. What else is in here? That's it. I think that's in here. Now, you haven't seen this, which was quite something. The laundry room, like every room in this house has had a total like redo. The kitchen used to be a hair salon. I didn't know if I had that post up or not, but legitimately, when I say hair salon, I am not exaggerating. Like, the brushes were still in the canisters. The mirrors were attached to the wall, the hair dryers, all the product on the shelves. And that is now my kitchen. So, yay me. Hi, Twisted Sushi. Aw, you're so cute, Mims. I don't put all my pictures up there, but the whole like I like to decorate, and I like, hi sweetheart. I like, trying new things and whatever. And so when we moved into this house was just sort of like put together. using stuff that was in the house and that we already had, so leftover paint, and we recycled some wood that we had taken down from the living room and stuck it up on the wall. You guys remember the slats that I had? But it's been 4 years, and I sort of was like, it's time for me to like decorate the office the way that inspires me, that speaks to me. So here we are. Vintage Kelly. You're welcome. Ow. Thank you. What are you doing? Hello? Do you have something to say? Do you have something to add to the conversation? Or did you just jump up here to stand in front of me? You got something to say? Yeah. He's here to talk to his brother. Austin. Right there. Austin. Don't you be getting in any trouble. What's out there? Austin? Excuse me for one moment while I make sure that my cat isn't trying to communicate with a skunk or a raccoon. Back away from the window. Sorry, I don't mean to take all your fun away, but seriously, we don't need a skunk spray. I was sitting here the other night and the skunk sprayed. Oh, you guys, it was brutal because I was live and there was nothing I could do. I couldn't get up. I couldn't close the window or whatever. It was a lot. Austin, come. Come here, bud. Come. Come here. Austin. Hello. Come here. Come see mommy. He's like, I know what you're going to do. You're going to put me on that stupid camera. You know I don't like it. Come. He doesn't like being seen on camera. I don't know what his deal is. Austin, come here. Come see mommy. Come on. Are you going to make me get you? Come on. Oh, it's a good boy. Yes. Come on. Oh. Okay. Oh, okay. Relax for a minute. Calm down. This is Austin. This is my big boy. My bestest friend. Although he's not happy with me right at the moment, as you can tell. He doesn't like being on this camera. He really doesn't. Here you go, sweetheart. Are you going to play with my crystals? You know they're not soccer balls, right? What are you doing? Hey? You going to say hi to everybody? Come on, bud. Hey? Yeah, say hi. Austin. Hey. Will you... He's literally trying to eat the plastic plant. Come on. Come over here. Look. Come, look. What's that? What is it? So, oh, thank you, Janet. You're very kind. Blessings to you, my friend. Okay. He's not happy with me at all. All right, friends. I have to go. I'm dead tired. 3 hours and 40 minutes we've been here. And we were only planning for an hour, so that's pretty good. I thank all of you ever so kindly for hanging out with me. Oh, I'm so sorry. How rude. For chatting with me, for your kind donations, your kind comments, for sharing and for being supportive of each other and just for being you guys. This has been delightful. And I'm so grateful that we were able to just sort of bring this moment together. It was a lot of fun. I hope that you guys have a great weekend. Don't forget to check out the weekend reading if you haven't already done so. Make sure you give us a thumbs up. All those things are so important. Can you all believe that I lost, like, I don't know, like 10 or 12 subscribers while I was on vacation? Craziness. Anywho, Monday I'm back at 7, and my niece joins me. We'll be talking about how to strengthen our intuition. And then on Wednesday, I have Gerald from Tarot Stash joining. And yeah, so stay tuned. Lots of good things coming. And wherever you may be, I hope you're safe and you're well. And I send you many, many blessings. Thank you again for the donations. Most grateful and very, very, very much appreciated. Very, very much appreciated. I hope you guys have a great weekend, okay? Many blessings. Bye, everybody. Want to say bye, Austin? Austin. Yep, he's done. Bye, everybody.